everyone. Welcome to my YouTube page. The team is TV show. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. I am going to share my transplant story with you guys. This is something that I've always wanted to do since I was about 12 years old. So I really, really hope that you guys do enjoy the story that I'm about to tell. So I was born with a hole in my original heart at birth. I was born with a hole in my original heart. The heart disease that I had, however, was a double arc right ventricle. So this had caused me to have like a lot of problems, which one of them being short of breath. I wasn't able to run as fast as other kids, in the playground. I wasn't able to do a lot of activities, like other kids, play sports, like basketball, tennis, soccer. Wasn't really able to do much. I was in the hospital a lot. I was definitely in the hospital. Um, the first hospital that I did come to was Brookdale Hospital. The best, absolute the best. That hospital is my home 1000%. Um so yeah. At age 6 years old, I had to get out of school. I had to leave school. I used to go back and forth, from school, home. There were times I would be going to the hospital. I would have to sometimes leave school to go to the hospital, because my heart was extremely weak at that point. It was at a point where I had to, like, my mom, she had to make a decision, to, pull me away from school so my daughter can live, or leave my daughter in school, and then, but my mom wasn't having that. So, yeah, I left school at age 6. Crazy, right? That was it was so hard for me. It was so tough for me because it's like I missed my friends, my teachers, everything around the classroom. And I'm still the type of person, I love education so much. Like, I love school. And, just leaving school at age 6 years old, it was pretty sad. It was depressing. So yeah, so after leaving school, I was admitted immediately into Brookdale Hospital. They took very good care of me, very, very, very good care of me. I can basically say that I was raised in the hospital because I was always, I was mostly there my whole entire life for the most part. I wasn't really, in a house all the time, like all the time. I wasn't really able to, like, stay home for a certain period of time. So that was, kind of shaky for me. But I did have, like, family members coming to see me. My mom was always there for me, 1000%. I had my grandmother bringing me food, my great grandmother coming to the hospital, reading me stories. So it was so much fun. Leading up to when I had my heart transplant now, I was 8 years old at the time. So it was at a point where this is like, a do or die situation. Like, I had 4 operations before I had my heart transplant. So the heart transplant became my 5th operation. So imagine, you know, as a kid, you're going through multiple surgeries and surgeries after surgeries, and you're just like, you know what? I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like how much more do I have to go through? But one thing with me as a kid, and even still to this day, I've always held on to faith. I always kept on praying. I believe in God all the way 1000%. And I remember, at the time when my mom told me, well, you're gonna have to have a heart transplant. And I'm just like, is this gonna be the resolution to everything that I really, really want? Like, am I going to be able to go back to school? Will I have the chance to meet friends now? Will I have the chance to be a normal person? So this is, it was hard. It was really, really hard at that point, at the, at the age of 8 years old. You know, you're spending your birthdays in the hospital. You're spending Christmas in the hospital. So you just have that main question, like, when is all of this over? So there were times where I would be in the hospital for sometimes months after months. I would have the PICC line in my arm. I don't know if you guys can really see the scar anymore. I don't know if it like disappeared, but yeah, I had the PICC line, I had the chest tubes, I had the Brodiac, I had all of that. So these were the things that I had to keep doing, to keep my the heart that I was born with, the whole heart. I had to keep that healthy until I got the new transplanted heart now at the moment. So it was scary, and I remember, oh my gosh, I waited 3 months. So I waited 3 months for my heart transplant. I waited three. I went on the list, I think, September, and I waited October, November, December. I got the call on January 27th. So that was a blessing. And leading up to that moment, I I would always ask my cardiologist, when would they call? Like, when would the transplant team call? Because they had already informed me that I'm on the list. I'm just on the waiting list. They just have to call me now to see if I'm gonna be a perfect match. And I'm just like, okay, well, all right, fine. So I waited at Brookdale. Brookdale Hospital. Waiting. The nurses, they're trying to keep me on a positive note. I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, let's keep waiting. And I just kept on praying. I had to keep praying. I had to, my spirit, it was so powerful. It still is still to this day. I feel like I was born with a spirit just to never give up, to never fail for some reason. And on January 27th, I remember my mom coming into the ICU because that's where they had me waiting. I wasn't waiting for a transplant at home. I wasn't able to wait at home with my family, get like a regular call. I had to wait in the hospital because I had to be on so much fluid to keep the heart going. And my mom, she like came into the ICU. She had this huge Kool-Aid smile on her face. And I'm like, why is my mom smiling? And I see the nurses, they were smiling, and my mom just whispered, like, they found the heart. I was so overjoyed. I was crying. And I remember my mom, she was braiding my hair. And I'm like, wait a minute, am I going into surgery looking cute? Okay, fine. So, the at that point, I was like, finally, God, thank you. And the ambulance came, and they transferred me over to New York Presbyterian Columbia Hospital. And they took me into the ICU room. It was an individual room by itself. So, and I remember all of my family members came, and they stood around my bedside in like a oval circle. And we bowed our heads and we prayed. And my head was down, and I remember just God, I just felt him. I didn't even feel scared. I didn't even feel worried for some reason. Like, even though I was still nervous, my whole body, everything, I just didn't feel afraid because I knew, like, you know what? God has me. I shouldn't have to worry about it, And I remember, my mom last words were, be brave, be strong, because, my mom was my key holders, it was always me and her back and forth. So they took me in, I think around midnight. Yeah, around midnight. And it was scary. It was scary. And then they had put me on the operating bed, and I was, after that, I was, they put like the mask on my face so I can like, go to sleep. But even though my family had already prayed, I was actually doing my own individual prayer. So I was like telling myself, God, I'm in your hands now, not in my own, but only yours. And I just drifted off to sleep. And then the next day now, um, I woke up, and it didn't it didn't really stop there. I was still admitted into the hospital. I was now a patient at New York Presbyterian Columbia Hospital. So there were times where I would just be on the machine. It was a lot. I had tubes all over me. It was one of those things where I just wanted to quickly recover. I didn't want to be in the hospital anymore. But I had to keep telling myself, patience is the key to everything. You can't just rush through it no matter what. And my mom was always by my side. My dad was also there, so I was very blessed and fortunate. What else? I also had nurses who had taken care of me from Brookdale Hospital. They came, they to visit me to see how I was doing. My cardiologist, my old cardiologist, who was at the time at Brookdale, she came to visit me, and it was just so beautiful, because when you have that support system, it's like people pushing you on to do, just to make you feel good, just to make you feel blessed. And I feel like without family, without love, and of course without God, you won't be able to make it. So it was one of those things where I just had to keep holding on to faith no matter what. And even after transplant, I had to keep, like I said, I had to keep from home all the way back to the hospital, from home back to the hospital, from home back to the hospital. And there were times where I grew frustrated so bad. I would cry, and I would just sometimes pray and ask God, like, when will my time come? When will my time come? And, you know, being from, starting from, from birth, you're coming out of school 6 years old. Then you have to be homeschooled, and even that shattered me, because it was like homeschool versus going to school. It's so different. With homeschool, you're only being tutored, one on one with a teacher. It's not really much, it's something, but it's not much. Versus where when you go to school, a public school or even a private school, you're meeting friends, you're going on trips, you're meeting teachers, you're learning, you're you're feeding off one another. I didn't really have that. I was only feeding off, majority of, one person. And there were times where my homeschool teacher would have to come into the hospital and teach me. And there were times where I would have so much pain, and she would be like, you know what? That's it. We're done for today. We have to wrap this up because I can see that you're not feeling well. And then she would leave, and I would be like, oh my gosh, my education is being cut short. Like, what do I do? What more do I do? So I just had those moments. But like I said before, I don't know why, but I feel like I was born with a spirit just to never give up, to never fall, to never fail. And I had to keep telling myself, well, you know what? If you've made it this far, what do you have to lose? And I just had to keep praying. I just had to keep praying and keep praying and keep praying. And there were times where I'm just like, you know what? I can't give up. I don't know why. It's not just the bad times in the hospital, but I also had great times in the hospital as well. I had like visitors who, I had like special people who would come and visit me. Friends and family who would come, friends and family who I haven't seen in a long time would come and visit me. And it was amazing. It was an amazing feeling. And I still had to keep getting homeschooled at some point, and I remember the time where I was actually going into the 11th grade because I had passed the 10th grade now. And my tutor, my homeschool tutor at the time, she's like, I believe you're ready to head back to school. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've been homeschooled for what? For so long, for 6 years. And, so how am I going to do that, And I remember my mom, calling my cardiologist, who, at the time, my new cardiologist now is at Presbyterian Columbia. So I'm like, oh my God, I hope I can be able to go back to school because this will be such a new resolution for me. So she's on the phone and we had to get so much paperwork done, and I got the news like, the team, you're starting school in September, and I cried. I fell to my knees and I just thank God because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally getting back to the one place that I loved so much. I'm finally getting back, but it wasn't easy going back. There were times where I was bullied. Um, I was questioned about, why do you go to the bathroom a lot? Or why do you look like this? Or why do you act like that? It was so much adjusting back to, it was so hard. I would like come home and cry. And I even told my mom, like, I just want to be homeschooled. I don't even want to go to school no more. And we actually had a talk, and she was like, you can't give up. And I just kept on hearing that words like, never give up, never give up. I had to hold on and, keep praying no matter what. And, the old saying of, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I thought the bullying, everything of what people, had done to me at the time, I thought it was going to kill me, but it actually just made me stronger. It made my character a lot better in every type of way, And then from there, I went on to high school, and now I'm actually in college. I'm actually finishing up college in this whole moment, and it has been 12 years. It's gonna be 13 years since I received my heart transplant. I've been doing public speaking for a lot of people because having a heart transplant is not easy. You have to have everything has to be correct, blood type. It's a lot. You just have to make sure that it's a perfect match for everything because one little thing that's incorrect and that just blows everything up. It's not going to be the same anymore. So if you are someone who is receiving a heart transplant or who is who has already received a heart transplant, my advice to you is please make sure that you take good care of yourself. You keep your weight under control. You know how to eat right. Take your medication on time. You don't want to slip up with those meds whatsoever. And even if you're someone who was born with a double right ventricle, I'm here to tell you right now, do not lose faith. Do not lose hope. Please do not stop praying because God is with you 100%, 1000%, as a matter of fact. And if I can do it, you guys can do it as well. There's no ifs or no buts to it. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. But this is my story. This is how it started. And I know that I still have more to do, but I just want to be a voice and encouragement to those who just needs a message or a friend, So if you have any questions or whatsoever, whatever you want to know, just leave your questions in the comment section. Please subscribe to the page and let me know what you guys think. Please like. And I hope to hear from you guys soon. So I'm gonna try to do as much videos as possible to encourage you guys, no matter what. And like I said before, keep encouraging one another. Hold on to faith, hold on to prayer, keep holding on to just positivity. Keep pushing yourself. and just allow yourself just to let God take control. And I hope to see you guys soon, and hopefully we can be able to have a positive spirit with kids or adults who has a heart problem, or who is going through a heart problem at the moment or whatsoever. Okay, so for now, guys, I'm tuning out. Bye.